Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Today, of course, is April the 1st. I just want to wish everyone a very, very happy PNM Day, and also to the Democrats, happy day. This is your day, my dear Democrats in America and jihadist supporters. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister must state a proactive reform-based policy on police officers in schools, go to work on real solutions to reduce school violence, and stop the ranting, says Opposition People's National Movement leader Penny Beckles. Penny Beckles, fear not, by the power of the mighty Morphin Ghanayam. In 2030, we shall all prevail, and therefore we can be able to restore diplomacy, and we will be able to restore patriotism here in Trinidad and Tobago, so that the PNM patriots can once again be gladly make sacrifices for emperor and country. Beckles cited the School of Focus initiative under the former PNM Education Minister Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, which supported students by addressing their lived realities. In other words, the conditions in which they live within their homes and communities. These are the programs that must be expanded. Police and schools without a proper rehabilitation framework is a failed approach, she said. She went on to say. Now, bear in mind, putting aside the hypocrisy of the PNM, that program, I don't have an issue with it, too. But listen to what my suggestion is. Any solution to end violence and juvenile delinquency in schools must be implemented outside of the school system. You cannot wait for reformation to take place while these zesters and baddies continue to torment the lives of both teachers and students within the school system. You cannot do that, Penny. You cannot do that, Marshall Walker. You're always talking about the root causes. I fully support that. Address the root causes. But you cannot do that within the school system. The schools are not correctional institutes. I said the schools are not correctional institutions. No one is implying, people, that we must abandon troubled youths even after expulsion occurs. But it must occur. The TTPS needs to be reformed in general, people. And officers must be mandated to wear body cameras while on duty at all times, including in our schools. There's no need, though, for specific reforms when it pertains to placing police officers in our nation's schools. What do you want them to do? Stand by, and when a fight's taking place, just clap hands and say amen? They have to arrest individuals who are committing the crime. Anyone who commits acts of violence or other serious crimes should be arrested, whether inside or outside of the school premises. Beckles, of course, made this ridiculous, well, sort of ridiculous comment on Facebook on Sunday night. Now, as I said before, there's merit to what she's saying. You know me. I'm not going to just be biased or anything like that because I don't support the PNM. But all I'm saying is your solution, a wonderful one, but it must be implemented outside of the school system. Encourage the government to develop and create more programs to be able to reform these troubled youths. But you cannot tell the nation that we must keep these individuals, these zesters and baddies, who roam the streets after schools asking each other which numbers they belong to, people. Boldly asking each other which numbers they belong to. And going and planning to get into fights because certain individuals declare that they belong to certain numbers. This nonsense must stop. Gang culture indoctrination through our media must stop. Artists must start. If it is an artist is promoting gang culture, they should be given awards and big up by the media. No, they should be condemned. It's free speech. You want to upload your stuff onto social media websites, fine. But that content must never be played on our airwaves. Don't go anywhere. More local, regional, and international news up next. Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath has signaled his intentions to meet with top officials from the police service to address the issue of water theft. Yes, people. Well, we know that was taking place under the PNM for the past 9.5 years. He revealed this during an interview with the media in El Socorro on Tuesday. There were times people were actually locking off pipelines in order to get to give their friends and families an opportunity to eat a food by getting water truck contracts, people. He revealed, Minister Padarath said, there are private contractors who are accessing WASA's facilities at night, stealing water and then selling it to citizens in areas, of course, that are not receiving a proper water supply. He noted that the incidents of theft are taking place throughout the country, but have recently seen an increase in the Siparia constituency. The minister said various media are being used to advise citizens on how truck-borne water can be accessed for free. Once again, this is one thing that concerns me about the Kamala Prasad administration. They're finding so much of corruption, and yet you're not hearing any sorts of criminal investigations being launched.
And therefore, information has come to WASA in terms of some of these activities happening in some of these constituencies, and we have forwarded these matters to the TTPS. I intend on asking the Commissioner for a meeting, because even though these matters were reported to the TTPS over the last couple of days, we advise that nothing has been done.
Minister Padarath noted that the incidents of theft are taking place throughout the country, but has recently seen an increase in the Siparia constituency. He said various mediums are being used to advise citizens on how truck-borne water can be accessed for free.
A bushfire has destroyed one of Penal's most cherished landmark homes, wiping out nearly a century of history tied to the Tilak Dari family, whose legacy has shaped generations within the Penal community. Standing amid the ruins yesterday, Dr. Roy Tilak Dari said the sprawling wooden house at Rock Road, built about 90 years ago by his parents, Paul and Lilias Tilak Dari, once stood as the heart of the village, serving not only as a family residence, but also a clinic, a rice mill, a cocoa drying facility, and a place of learning. He said the structure which had been abandoned, listen to this part clearly. He said the structure which had been abandoned for the past 6 years was reduced to ashes after flames from a nearby bushfire spread rapidly across the property. The exact cause of the fire remains unclear, though there are suspicions it may have originated from nearby land clearing activities. Tilak Dari said a container with traces of fuel was found in the area, but it is not known whether it was linked to the blaze. And of course, people still have the question whether it was intentionally done or not. It was arson or whatsoever. But putting that aside, I think at least one person commented this online and said, you abandoned it. Maybe, just maybe, if you were keeping it clean, clearing the bush and stuff like that all the time, maybe the fire may not have been able to burn the house, may not have been able to reach the property, be able to reach the home. You don't think so? I'm not saying that is a 100% foolproof. You know, when it has a really serious fire, a lot of the times the breeze will still blow and cause something to catch fire. But we're just saying that person who made that comment was 100% correct. You abandoned it. Basically, you allowed that to happen to an extent. I'm not saying that you are responsible. I'm saying because you neglected the property, it made it much easier for this fire to occur, to reach the home and burn it down.
Wednesday, 1st April, Trinidad and Tobago weather outlook. General conditions. Anticipate a predominantly fair, sunny, and breezy day across both islands, consistent with typical dry season patterns. Temperature and heat index. Maximum temperature, 31 degrees Celsius ambient. Apparent temperature, highs may feel closer to 34 degrees Celsius due to humidity levels. Minimum temperature, 24 degrees Celsius. Precipitation and cloud cover. Cloud cover will remain low to occasional. There is a 20% probability of brief, isolated showers with a slight increase in activity over western Trinidad during the mid-afternoon. Wind and marine forecast. Winds easterly to northeasterly at 15-35 km per hour. Sea state, moderate, with open water wave heights ranging between 1.5 meters and 2.0 meters. Small craft operators should exercise standard caution.
Regional news now. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, is intensifying efforts to promote wealth creation across the 8 member countries of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Last week, ECCB engaged media practitioners from across the region in a bid to improve public understanding of the bank's work. The ECCB is headquartered in St. Kitts and Nevis, and this news came out from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but strangely, very strange, usually SVG TV provides news coverage on a daily basis during the week, hardly on a weekend. I don't know, it's a bit concerning how you're not really getting much news out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines these past few days.
The stability of the Eastern Caribbean dollar and its long-standing EC 2.70 dollar peg to the US dollar continues to be a source of pride for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. The bank is also preparing to celebrate its 50th anniversary in the coming months. At a workshop held on March 25th and 26th in St. Kitts and Nevis, ECCP Deputy Director Dr. Valda Henry emphasized the importance of citizens generating wealth as part of the region's economic development.
Because the Big Push agenda speaks to, or asks the question, how do we double the GDP within 10 years? That call was issued in January 2023. So it means we are 3 years into this 10 years, so we have 7 years left. But on a personal level, the question is also relevant. How do you, how do I, how do we double our individual wealth within 10 years?
The ECCB is also set to launch its 5-year strategic plan on March 31st under the theme Collective Action for Shared Prosperity. Dr. Henry underscored the need for people to transition from being primarily savers to becoming investors.
While in the Caribbean we may be diligent savers, we are not great investors. To a large extent, we are very risk averse. And what it is asking for is that we need to shift our mindset, take a cultural shift to move from savers to investors. Because we have recognized that savings alone does not lead to wealth creation.
The bank continues to roll out a number of programs across the Eastern Caribbean. Director of Corporate Relations at the ECCB, Sharmalan Kirby, said the decision to engage the media was aimed at strengthening public awareness of the bank's role and functions so it can better serve the people of the ECCU.
Central banking information is not always easily relatable, and so we thought it important if our media practitioners have a better understanding, they will be in a better position to relate the information to the public.
Sessions at the media workshop covered a range of topics, including the future of payments in the ECCU, safeguarding the financial system, monetary policy, understanding data, reserve management, and financial inclusion and illiteracy. For SVG TV News, Larissa Pogsley-Kidd.
All drainage and irrigation systems across Region 6 Guyana are currently fully operational and functioning effectively as a result of sustained and dedicated efforts of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority. Through ongoing maintenance, regular monitoring, and timely interventions, the authority has been able to ensure that canals, pumps, cokers, and other critical infrastructure remain in proper working condition. Being proactive instead of reactive, like what PNM was doing here in the past 10 years, being just reactive. Matter of fact, most times it wasn't even reacting at all. Member of Parliament Zamal Hussain told the Guyana Chronicle in an invited comment, "Let me say that the regional chairman, the vice chairman, the rangers, and so on in various levels, they are working in the various communities to ensure that the systems are working." According to Hussain, the team is working throughout the region, checking on all the various sluices. Further, he said that there were no reports of any major flooding within the region, stressing that we are working to ensure that all systems remain will be able to work and function properly. Rice farmers who gathered at the number 52 sluice on Saturday expressed their appreciation for the presence and engagement of Hussein and the regional authorities. Once again, this is something we must commend them for, just like UNC here in Trinidad and Tobago. They are always seen, well, not all of them. We don't really see Sturge here in Grandy at all. But there are a lot of Khadija Amin and others. You see them on the ground, meeting with the people of their constituencies. They noted that having officials on the ground provided a valuable opportunity to voice their concerns directly and receive immediate feedback on pressing issues affecting their cultivation. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica says the country's gross domestic product for the period October to December 2025 fell by 7.1% compared to the corresponding quarter of 2024, which confirmed the negative effect of Hurricane Melissa on the economic activity. The value of the goods producing industries fell by 10.7% during the quarter compared to the last quarter of 2024, while the services industries fell by 5.9% during the corresponding period. And yet, sadly, Dr. Andrew Holness and his administration is walking away from what the type of policies, the type of capitalist policies they were implementing for 10 years to now introduce taxes in an attempt to recover the economy. So, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, I like you a lot of different ways. I believe you are leaning on the conservative side. Please change your mind and stop trying to impose new taxes and duties and stuff like that, because you cannot tax a population into recovery or prosperity, sir. In a move described as transformational intervention for the working class to dismantle a cycle of intergenerational poverty, the Mia Mottley administration on Tuesday pushed through landmark legislation that could see thousands of Barbadians become homeowners for the very first time. The landmark legislation aims to bypass decades of bureaucratic hurdles to immediately grant homeownership to thousands of long-term tenants currently living in National Housing Corporation units. The targeted group, long-term tenants in state-owned housing, with the goal of converting rental history into generational wealth for the working class. This legislation has been described by officials as a direct strike against systemic poverty. The bill seeks to provide justice to residents who have long fulfilled their financial duties. Yet again, this is more evidence that maybe Mia Mottley is the right choice. I don't know, people. I find some of the policies she's coming up with is good. Because I have been saying for many years now, and I know a lot of my conservative friends will say that, well, that sounds like socialism. But I do believe, as a citizen of a country, hear the word I said, citizen, as a citizen of a country, you have a right to own one portion of land, a small portion, maybe just not even a whole acre, a half an acre, even a lot, so that you can at least build a home to have as a shelter for yourself and family. Bahamas Nurses Union President Muriel Lightbourne expressed concern Tuesday that the healthcare sector has been neglected by successive administrations. So, of course, she's not just targeting the present administration. Lightbourne noted that while several governments have appointed doctors to lead the Ministry of Health, long-standing challenges within the system have persisted. And, of course, we all know why. Most, not all, but most doctors, all they care about is just collecting a paycheck. Sometimes they start to write down things before they even hear anything or even examine you, you know. You could believe that? It's crazy outside here. And of course, when you go into politics, a lot of the times, if you're not morally grounded, especially biblically morally grounded, you can just end up being consumed by that type of lifestyle, and a lot of your values suddenly change.
I don't know what it is though, because when people are in opposition, they can see everything that is wrong. They have all the solutions to how to fix it, and then They elected 5 years later, we still there, or we have another set of problems, another set of issues as it pertains to the healthcare. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know if people just close their eye, if it isn't important. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what it is that we need to do to bring some improvement to our healthcare system.
International news now. President Trump reacts to the judge stopping the White House ballroom construction. You can believe that, a federal judge. I'm very sure that is a Biden appointee or Obama appointee, maybe. President Trump said he is so wrong. This is being financed privately, the president went on to say. It's a donation that's being given by companies, very rich companies, very rich people. So that for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom there. Here we are going to have the finest ballroom, I believe, anywhere in the world. I am quite sure the Democrats wouldn't mind if that little area was constructed to have a Planned Parenthood clinic there. You would love that, wouldn't you?
He's so wrong. This is being financed privately. It's a donation that's being given by companies, very rich people, so that for 150 years they've wanted a ballroom here. We're going to have the finest ballroom, I believe, anywhere in the world.
The United Arab Emirates has imposed a ban on entry and transit through Dubai for Iranian citizens, according to an announcement published by Fly Dubai Airline. I wonder if our tribal Trinis and jihadists will turn against Dubai now. According to the directive, which took effect immediately, holders of Iranian passports are prohibited from entering the country or transiting through Dubai International Airport. Now, bear in mind, the vast majority of the Iranian population want liberation from the Ayatollah terrorist regime, you know. But at this point in time, you don't know who are loyal to the Ayatollah or who are against them. So that is why these precautions are being taken by Dubai officials. The restriction applies to all Iranian citizens without exception, including holders of valid UAE residence permits of any category, as well as tourist and visitor visas. Furthermore, Iranian citizens currently outside the UAE, including residents, will not be able to return to the country. Similar rejections are already reflected in official responses via applications. Once again, I wonder if CNC3 PNM3 will report this, so that you will see that even Arab countries, moderate Arab countries in the Middle East, are taking a stand against the Ayatollah terrorist regime. Now, for the interesting facts segment, during an emergency rescue, a tense situation turned unexpectedly heartwarming. As firefighters evacuated a building, one rescuer carried an elderly woman to safety. In the middle of the chaos, she looked up with a playful smile and joked, "The last time I was carried like this was my wedding night." I'm sure he smiled and probably got a little scared at the same time. Madam, that was back then. This is not taking place now. But nevertheless, I'm just kidding. The firefighter couldn't help but laugh, and a photo captured the moment. Fear and humor side by side. Stories like this often circulate online, though specific details can be hard to verify. Still, it's a powerful reminder that even in crisis, humanity, courage, and a little laughter can shine through.
Welcome to Real Conservative News Travel Adventures. Biscayne National Park is a 95% underwater wonderland just south of Miami, preserving mangrove forests, clear seagrass beds, and the northernmost Florida Keys. It is a premier aquatic escape perfect for snorkeling, scuba diving, and boating. You'll find incredible sea life like manatees, sea turtles, and vibrant coral reefs, all best explored through boat tours or kayaking trips to remote spots like Boca Chica Key. Unlike many national parks, the only way to truly explore Biscayne is on the water. It is a world of incredible marine life, featuring a portion of the world's third longest living coral reef. Boating and touring, many adventures start from the Dante Facil Visitor Center at Convoy Point. Snorkeling and diving, explore the Maritime Heritage Trail, which includes several shallow water shipwrecks, or visit patch reefs filled with tropical fish and coral. Key life: visit Boca Chica Key for a sandy beach and iconic lighthouse, or Adams Key for mangroves. Unmissable experiences. Kayaking in Jones Lagoon: kayak or paddleboard through serene mangrove tunnels to spot baby sharks, sea turtles, and rare birds. Stiltsville: cruise by the historic wooden houses built on stilts in the middle of the water, dating back to the 1930s. Fishing and wildlife: fish in designated areas or watch for sea turtles and manatees while taking in the calm, turquoise water. Important information to know before you go. A boat is essential, because 95% of the park is underwater. You will need a boat to see the best of it. Guided boat trips are available through the Biscayne National Park Institute. Sun protection: the Florida sun is intense, especially on the water. Pack plenty of sunscreen, hats, and protective clothing. Best time to visit: winter and spring offer the best weather and visibility. Summer months are good for boating, but come with high heat and a higher chance of thunderstorms. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you again tomorrow as our journey around the world continues.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all, in Jesus' name.